Namaste. I was telling Dr. Sudhir Lal that I'm nursing a swollen knee, just like the tennis elbow, there is a dancer's knee. And these are the perennial dangers. I'm delighted to be a part of this conversation. So much elucidation has already happened because the text Natya Shastra is like, as you said, Akshaya Patra. There's a never-ending search and a never-ending supply of fresh information, knowledge, and actually, I think there Guru's eyes, as I said, better late than never. UNESCO thought about it, and I think UNESCO honored itself. It did not honor Natya Shastra. Natya Shastra has been honored since thousands of years. And again, I would remember, just now we heard our Prime Minister also is deeply involved in our Virasat heritage and how to share it with the world. So our Deepotsava, Deepavali, I think it's for a better translation, it's always used as Festival of Lights. It's an inadequate translation anyway. But at this juncture, at this point, it makes so much sense. In a dark room, you light one matchstick even, not even a candle or a diya, but that little matchstick removes the darkness. And in the darkest night of the year, the Diwali night, we light earthenware diya, not candles, not electric lights. There's so much substance to that entire concept. But simply put, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, our old adage, sutra, from darkness to light. Please lead us. And that's what Deepotsava does. In a collective consciousness, it lights and removes the darkness of Ajnan, Avidya, ignorance. After listening to the scholars seated here, my task is made that much easier. My subject is the relevance of Natya Shastra today. And I think it's a very, very timely point to consider. I have just a few things to say. Ever since Natya Shastra entered the honored World Heritage List, the Memory of the World, there have been many seminars. So much has been said already, It is true that Natya Shastra is the single most comprehensive text, a compendium, on multiple aspects of theatre, including detailed descriptions of what all constitutes dance, that is inclusive of dance, how to construct theatre specific to a theme, the making of different kinds of music instruments, and much, much more. The text is awe-inspiring. Indeed, one would apply the same adage as is widely said about our great epic, the Mahabharata. it is said, what is not in Mahabharata does not exist anywhere in the world. It is that comprehensive. And Natya Shastra, I think, is absolutely at that level. I dare say this applies to Natya Shastra too. In the first chapter, we are told by Bharata Muni, and this is my favorite shloka, I keep quoting everywhere, na tad jnanam, na tad shilpam, na sa vidya, na sa kala, na so yogo, na tat karma, na yasmin yanna drishyate. The first chapter. So, my little English, actually I'm a Gujarati, and I was educated in Gujarati medium school. Okay? And my mother tongue is Gujarati, we spoke Gujarati at home, and then there was Hindi, and then there was Sanskrit. English came much later, because it was not considered important in my time, in Bombay. So, I just roughly translated, there is no stream of knowledge, arts or science, arts as plastic, visual, performance arts, any branch of science, any form of yoga, hatha yoga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, kriya yoga, sahaja yoga, nada yoga, and jnana yoga, endless. But I added some decades ago already. I added Nritya Yoga or Natya Yoga to this list as the ultimate form of yoga. It sits at the apex of the confluence of all the arts. And when I say arts, there's the art of living, the art of life, the art of knowledge, art of science. Natya Yoga, Nritya Yoga sits at the apex, at the top. And I've written, usually I don't write because my memory chip is still very active. But I thought Natya Shastra and then all these great scholars will be there. So I sat down and wrote something. And while writing my interpretation, I said, while humbly seeking Bharata Muni's permission to say so. And I've said it. Fortunately, we have this great tradition of intellectual freedom in this time and day of everyone claiming freedom of thought, freedom of action, freedom of speech, freedom to do whatever. This freedom has existed for times immemorial in Bharatavarsha. So, we have this great tradition of intellectual freedom by which thousands of tikas, commentaries, have been written, composed on time-honored texts like the Veda, the Upanishad, Purana, and no one can tell you you are not supposed to write. There are tikas on tikas, there are commentaries on commentaries, but we have this intellectual freedom, which I think is unique in the world. This shloka establishes the widest scope of applicability by affirming that there is no karma, work, no action, translated as roughly work or action, which are not to be seen or found in the Natya, drama, dance and music in the Indian context. Question therefore now is, how is Natya Shastra relevant today in this era of robots, Gen Z, even Alpha has come, I'm told, social media, technological advances, mind-blowing innovations and inventions. So, in the vortex of happenings, events, situations beyond our control, a wayward army of nagging thoughts and doubts, battling a routine of mundane tasks, one can continue to remain sane and sensitive, calm and soulful by understanding the nature and place of rasa and bhava in life. You've already heard what rasa means, what bhava means, and the rasa nishpatti, the rasaswadan, all these things are detailed. But in our normal life, in everyday life, we experience it 24/7. The only difference is the actor, the dancer, can immediately recognize what he or she is feeling and put it in the context. For others, it is just ha ha he he, yeah, okay. And this is the great difference which really characterizes the students and practitioners of our time-honored performing arts. So, analysis of feelings and emotions, moods and sentiments, how, when, why, and outcome thereof. Understanding the above by studying the elaborate structure of emotions, the complexity of the interplay between the conscious and the subconscious mind, effect of environment, seasons, even geography, elements that affect us directly or indirectly, resulting in a particular mood or behavior are the stuff our lives are made of. These were relevant yesterday, they are relevant today, and they will remain relevant tomorrow also. I personally have hugely benefited from these lessons, eventually developing the ability to switch from one character to another on stage. I'm a dancer. To allow a rainbow of varying emotions to convey a wide range of feelings, all in a few moments, and yet to remain inwardly unruffled, as our Chittaranjanji said, the distance created, that you are at once objective and subjective. But unless you maintain that distance, and then you get into situations which get out of control. I remember in the famous Ashtapadi, Yahi Madhava, Yahi Keshava from the Gita Govinda. Radha is rejected and angry because the beloved Krishna has not kept his word. She is alone at the tryst, at the meeting place. Krishna arrives very late, that's early in the morning, with telltale signs of having been with another woman, and Radha says, go away, Krishna, Yahi Madhava, Yahi Keshava, Mamata Kaitava Radha, etc. Now this dancer, Odissi dancer, became so emotional, she was not able to keep that distance. And audience was in stitches of laughter because she shed real tears and her artificial eyelashes came and sat on the cheeks. So it is very, I will not name her naturally, I'll tell you later. So unless we maintain that distance and remain unruffled, it is not going to be successful, whatever we are going to present. I call it a meditative state because you are in it and you are yet out of it. And unless one has developed that ability to meditate on stage, you are never successful. You may earn a lot of money, a lot of fame and name, but you have not really got the essence of Natya. No need, I think, for psychoanalysis. If Natya Shastra is going to be taught from early on, third class, third standard, that generation which grows up and understands and takes it with them through life. There will be no need for psychologists and psychoanalysis and all that. In any case, in India, we have the catharsis, we have the collective catharsis. And I believe now there are bhajan clubs where the bhajan jamming goes on. And they all sway to the rhythm of devotional, spiritual chanting. This is all a part of this very, very beautiful discipline given to us by Natya Shastra and by our tradition. So, I have almost said whatever I wanted to say. Yes, a couple of points. I refer to Sandhya's point also, and I always say that unfortunately Sanskrit remains a very complex language, difficult to translate. Unfortunately, the English translations don't do justice either to Bharatanatyam Shastra, to Gita Govinda, to Veda, to Purana, to anything at all. And therefore, it is always good to teach the original Sanskrit word with all its dimensions, all the different nuances, and another thing that I was writing, that in the first chapter again, Bharata Muni sings praises of why such performances or Natya is essential to the society. It says, Dukhartanam, Shokartanam, Shamartanam. People who are tired and weary, who are steeped in some kind of sorrow, for all these people. So what does the Natya do? Washing away the weariness of carrying unnecessary burden of conflicting emotions, feeling lighter and joyous therefore, in the cathartic state of melting in the heightened collective positive energy. Natya Shastra offers such divine information which is culled from eonic knowledge, and we have so many eons. This Bharata Muni is in our lifetime, and there were other Bharata Munis in the past eons. So to understand the importance of what we have got today is to understand the eonic structure of time as is understood in India, and which can penetrate through thick layers of avidya, ignorance, and insensitivity, and to create and spread Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. All that is conveying the essence of the truth, the eternal truth, the cosmic beauty, and the cosmic Shiva, the auspiciousness of creation. And the most wonderful thing is, Natya Shastra offers all the above and much more to every individual. Yeah. So in conclusion, Natya Shastra offers your sacred space. Now this is I'm quoting Joseph Campbell. Your sacred space where you can find yourself again. It's a very deep truth, and Natya Shastra offers us exactly. And therefore I thank UNESCO that they have thought about Natya Shastra, put it on the world map, and the legacy of Bharat's great culture, civilizational truths, traditions are now in the world. By doing so, UNESCO has honored itself. I said so. May the divine dancer Sri Nataraja Shiva continue the whirl of creation and dissolution in which we all are, the whirling sub atomic particles and therefore a part of it. Vande Mataram. Thank you very much.